And if you haven't done that, I'll also remind you at the end so we can collect this information because we want to make sure that you do get a certificate for today's training. Well, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. I'm Dr. Michelle DeMolinaire, and I work with the Child Care Resource and Referral Agencies, as well as our Early Childhood Ancillary Certificate programs. I have been a center director or was a center director for over 30 years. I used some of these things that we're going to be talking about today, Louisiana Pathways for education scholarships, and have worked in both the profit and nonprofit world, and hopefully can relate some of my experience into this presentation for you today. And I'm joined by my colleague, Tella Henderson. Tella, if you want to say a little bit about yourself and your role.
Good afternoon. My name is Tella Henderson. I am one of the field support consultants with the department. I've been with the agency for about 8 years, and I work with childcare sites for the Northwest and Northeast sections of the state. And glad you guys are here today.
Thank you all. Okay, so we're going to start our presentation, and at any time, if I'm going too fast or you need to have a clarifying question, please type it in the chat box and I'll slow down, or I'll be glad to address the issue a little bit further. Today, we're going to talk about Start Strong 2020, which hopefully you've seen in some of the early childhood newsletters and had the opportunity to look at it. If not, we're going to give you some information today to find that information. We're going to talk about the different types of learning programs and partners. We're going to talk about the class observation tool. We're going to talk about classroom observation for teacher-child interactions, some of your community partners, other resources, and we have some time for questions. You are an early childhood program leader, and you have a big opportunity to make an impact on children's success in school. And this is just some facts. Did you know that the average baby's brain doubles in size in that first year, and it keeps growing to about 80% of adult size by age 3 and 90% by age 5? And you know, the average child spends under 5 spends 33 hours per week in childcare. So you have a big responsibility as we see the research on baby's brain, the first year of life, by age 3, and then by age 5, 90% of the brain is developed. So it's very important that children experience a high quality early education, because we want to make sure they graduate from high school, and we don't want them to be attending special education classes, and we want them to be successful. Start Strong 2020. As a response from the COVID-19 pandemic, the department has developed a series of links and things for you to help you rebuild your center if you lost enrollment after some of the shutdowns from COVID-19 and possibly further shutdowns, some guiding documents, and that's called Strong Start 2020. Louisiana has made considerable progress in unifying and strengthening early childhood systems and has been focused on 3 priorities for early childhood: increasing early childhood classroom quality, expanding access for economically disadvantaged families, and supporting local governance. This Strong Start 2020 planning guide provides the priorities that the early childhood communities and sites should use to ensure that children start strong in the 2020-2021 school year. And it's important that we keep those 3 priorities in mind: classroom quality, expanding access for economically disadvantaged families, and supporting your local governments. To support the work of the early childhood communities as they recover, the department has released this planning guide. As you can see here, anything that's highlighted in blue is a link to the guide. The Strong Start 2020 Planning Guide describes the priorities communities should consider and guidance regarding available funding sources, including COVID-19 recovery grants, a second round of Louisiana Child Care Assistance LACAP relief grants, and Elementary and Secondary School Emergency Relief Fund, which is ESSERF. You can find this on our website at www.louisianabelieves.com, and you will also, this presentation will also be posted, and you can follow the links to the documents. We're really excited that our website has so much to offer. We do have a director toolbox on our website. The director toolbox contains many supports and resources so that you don't have to recreate the wheel. It has licensing forms and information, instructional leadership information, things and information about preparing your teachers, information on CCAP, state incentives for type 3 programs, and administrative leadership. And I'm going to click on this director support toolbox so you can see what's on this website, and hopefully it'll work. So be patient with me. Look at that, the director support toolbox. As you can see, there's things for licensed centers, stuff about the fire marshal, the health department, anything about publicly funded programs, instructional leadership, how we can prepare our teachers, state incentives like the school readiness tax credit, the curriculum initiative, food program, saving money through state contracts, and mental health consultation. And we'll be talking about all of these today. Program types and partners. Louisiana's early childhood programs prepare children for success in school and in life, as we noticed from our first slide. And the quality of interactions during early childhood help achieve this goal. The class observation tool measures the quality of interaction and is used to evaluate every publicly funded classroom in Louisiana. Program types evaluated by the class tool are schools, Head Start and Early Head Start, and Type 3 child care programs. All early learning centers in Louisiana, including Head Start and Early Head Start, are required to comply with licensing requirements. And again, licensing requirements, we've linked them here. When you get this presentation, you can look, or you can also go into the director's toolbox. Licensing requirements are also called Bulletin 137. In Bulletin 137, there are 3 types of licenses for early learning centers in the state of Louisiana. And I think we have one of every type on this call today. A Type 1 license are for church-based centers that are those are no longer issued, but they are grandfathered in. The Type 2 early learning centers do not accept public funding, such as CCAP, but they are eligible to receive the food nutrition program. And Type 3 early learning centers are authorized to accept some form of public funding to serve children in need, CCAP, Head Start funds, or NSECD funds. Welcome to the network. All publicly funded early learning programs are members of a network committed to supporting a quality start for every child through training, support, and evaluation. Do you know who your network is? Your network includes all Head Start, NSECD programs, Type 3 early learning centers, and public pre-K. You have a community network lead agency. You also have a resource and referral agency, access to mental health consultants, and Early Steps, an early intervention program for children through age 3. Type 3 centers and Head Start centers have many, many additional benefits as well. Head Start and Type 3 programs are eligible for the tax credits, teacher tax credits, family tax credits, teacher and director scholarships for academic programs to go back to school, to get your early childhood ancillary certificate, to pay for a CDA. If you want to attend a college course, you can receive scholarships. You can also receive the USDA food program subsidies, child care assistance program, free teacher and child trainings through your resource and referral agency, and job embedded coaching. And there is curriculum funding to support the purchase of for type 1 curriculum, tier 1 curriculum. Get connected to your network. This is your next steps. If you don't know who your network is, sign up for the Early Childhood Connect. This is a newsletter that goes out every few weeks so that you can stay on top of any changes to Bulletin 137, fingerprint issues, common things that are happening throughout the state. If once you sign up, it will be emailed to you. It doesn't come through the mail, but click on that link and sign up. That's your best way to get information from the state. Learn about all the services. If you haven't had a chance to go through the Louisiana Believes website, take some time and click through all of those items on the early childhood website and learn about some of those services offered through your community. Visit with your local R&R. If you are a child care or Head Start center, attend directors meetings at your resource and referral agency. They are filled with many great opportunities for learning from your peers and learning best practices, and we strongly encourage you to attend those directors meetings. Now, I believe since COVID-19, they're offering them online. So if you're not familiar with your resource and referral agency, give them a call and get signed up to get their newsletter so you know when those directors meetings are. You also will be part of a community network and lead agency. It's real important as well that you know who those people are and connect and learn with your peers from schools, Head Starts, and other Type 3 programs. If you are a Type 3 early learning center, learn more about the many benefits available to you, your teachers, and families. And if you're a Type 1 or a Type 2 center and are interested in becoming a Type 3 center, you can click as well on the many benefits and you can see what you might be missing. And you can easily switch through licensing to become a Type 3 center. The class observation tool. The class observation tool, as we talked about before, is the tool that the department uses to measure quality of teacher-child interactions. What do high quality interactions with children look like? The dimension in each program are best practices in early childhood, and each program receives a rating based on these scores. Class every day. Class is only a measure to evaluate quality. It is a tool that describes how to achieve it. Through class trainings and resources, early childhood educators will learn specific best practices to guide everyday interactions with children, such as emotional support, which focuses on positive, warm, and nurturing relationships with children. Classroom organization structures classroom routines to function like a well-oiled machine, and instructional support, which describes an deep engagement with children to build language and cognitive skills. Trainings and support for early childhood leaders to understand how these quality interactions promote high quality programs are available throughout the year at your local CCR&R, resource and referral agency, or through your lead agency. We also have some videos and things linked on the Louisiana Believes website. Understanding quality can help you guide the quality and provide guidance to your teachers. Again, Your resource and referral agency provides trainings on the class tool. Teachstone developed the class tool and has an online library of resources and partners with community resources and referral agencies on a more in-depth training to make the most of child interactions, which is called MMCI. So if you see MMCI listed on your CCR&R catalog, that's what that is. It is a more in-depth way to look at the class observation tool within the classroom. And also your community network lead agency, they have access to all of the Teachstone and class videos to continue your understanding of quality interactions. Learn about high quality teacher interactions by one, attending a class training. If you haven't done so already, I would suggest that you sign up to do one. You can sign up through your resource and referral agency. Enroll all of your program staff into an intro to class training within the first month of hire. Look through those videos that are available online and with your lead agency. And start looking at the local, how your local resource referral and agency can guide you through coaching and through coaching with a class guide. High quality programs. Developing a high quality learning program. As you know, as a leader, your teachers require skills, materials, and support to provide high quality experiences to the children they serve. As an instructional leader, there are 4 key areas that you can do to support your teachers. Number 1, I guess, is your teacher credentials. Depending on your role in the program, your teachers may be required to complete coursework for a credential. Choosing curriculum. High quality curriculum provides lessons that sequence learning using early learning development standards for all children. The child assessment and observation information. Teachers require training, materials, and equipment to engage children appropriately to document and guide their learning. And then, as always, ongoing and professional development. Teachers and leaders require ongoing training to improve. And as an instructional leader of your facility, it's very important that you allow teachers to attend professional development and that you as well attend professional development for directors so that you can improve your instructional leadership skills. Teaching credentials. Again, your teacher's level of preparation is key to high quality learning and experience. It is as well if your children have a high quality learning experience and are happy, your families are happy, and your enrollment may increase. So it's very important that your teacher's level of preparation is high and that it is the key to your high quality learning experiences for children. School-based programs are required to provide a certified lead teacher. So their teachers have to have a 4-year college degree and have to meet certification requirements. Head Start programs abide by the federal guidelines on staffing credentials. Type 3 early learning centers are required to employ a lead teacher with an early childhood ancillary certificate within 24 months of their start date as a lead teachers. For the ECAC, teachers may have credentials that apply to the certificate, or they may need to enroll in the coursework. There's a document linked here that is very helpful to use when hiring new teachers and determining the next steps for existing staff. Again, scholarships are available to qualifying teachers and administrators in Type 3 and Head Start programs. So the cost of the program should never hinder a teacher from attending one of these early childhood ancillary certificate programs. Please, as a director of a program, please make sure they're attending a BESI approved program and that they are registered with Pathways and are using the scholarship funds. Developing a high-quality program choosing curriculum. Teachers need the right tools to guide children's learning. The program's leader's choice of curriculum will provide direction for teachers each day and throughout the year. We have reviewed many curriculums and have determined that high-quality curriculum are called Tier 1 curriculum. All early childhood sites should seek to implement a Tier 1 curriculum. A list of Tier 1 curriculum is available at this link. Also, your resource and referral agency may have some materials on site. Type 3 early learning centers can receive funding and assistance to purchase and implement a Tier 1 curriculum through the Child Care Curriculum Initiative. So we hope that you take advantage of those programs, the Child Care Curriculum Initiative, to purchase a Tier 1 curriculum for your classrooms. Okay, I believe Tella's going to take over from here.
Yes, I am. In continuing with developing a high quality program, we will look at the child assessment and observation information. Through an online system, which is referred to as TS Gold, teachers are able to gather and record assessment data for every publicly funded child that they serve. The teachers in the classroom will take that online system to track the growth of every child through checkpoints throughout the year. And so we have documentation linked here in the presentation that will provide you an overview on how to implement the gold. And teachers have implemented the gold system in their classrooms by using an iPad or a computer to enter those checkpoints. Trying to move my slide here. Okay. Ongoing professional development. Just as we would like for the children to grow, we would like for the teachers who work with our children to continue to grow. And in doing that, the teachers are able to continue with professional development through the local CCR&R. One second, I just lost my slide. Teachers are able to do that through the local CCR&R and also sometimes through their community network lead agency. And so teachers as well as the directors could check with the local see what trainings are offered within their respective regions to best fit the teacher's needs.
And just a reminder, directors, when you are signing your teachers up for training, it's very important that they are being trained by a certified Pathways trainer. If the trainer is not a Pathways approved training, then licensing will not count that training.
Thank you, Michelle. I'm having technical difficulties with my slides.
It's okay. I'm going to click on the administrators track, and then Tella can walk you through it if I can get on it here. And then we're going to talk about some tax credit money.
Okay, so are you on slide 25?
Yes, and I've just clicked open the Pathways website. So as you can see on your screen, this is NSU's Louisiana Pathways website. To the right side, you can see all of the things that Louisiana Pathways offers. They have an administrator track, that's for directors. They have a teacher track for teachers, family child care track for family child care, director's report. They have scholarship information, CDA assessment information, college tuition scholarships, how you apply, trainer, how to become a trainer, who the approved trainers are, and many links on here for you. So we're back on slide 25.
And just depending on the level of, for the administrator track, the director track, the directors can receive, well up to $1,756 to $3,511 in tax credits. And so we know that that is very crucial and very beneficial to site directors as well as the teachers. And we're thrilled about being able to offer these school readiness tax credits for our sites. Next steps. To plan for a high quality program, directors should use the Early Childhood Ancillary Certification Staffing Map, and we refer to that as our ECAC staffing map. This map will help the directors to evaluate the teacher's credentials. So say, for instance, if you have a lead teacher that is new to your site, Michelle has already mentioned that if that new teacher is new to your site, then they have 24 months to complete that CDA credential if they don't already have it, because that's a requirement, that's a mandate from the department for all lead teachers to have that. And so if your teacher does not have that CDA credential, then it is advised that they would enroll in a BESI approved CDA program to work towards obtaining that credential. And so that would be the first step for your teachers. You could also explore the school readiness tax credit benefit to see how your teachers would qualify for that. Michelle has already mentioned that when teachers are enrolled in Louisiana Pathways, documentation of certificates and all of that should be forwarded to Louisiana Pathways. Other ways to maintain a high quality program is purchasing and implementing a high quality tier 1 curriculum, signing up for the TS Gold training for your teachers, and making sure that your teachers are implementing those checkpoints throughout the year. And then just considering other opportunities in your program calendar to discuss with the families about their child or their children's individual progress and their growth in the classroom.
Tella, can we stop for just a second for questions? Does anybody have any questions on school readiness tax credits, pathways, enrollment in pathways, when you do that, anything on pathways, tier 1 curriculum, teachers' credentials? If you could just type it in the chat box and we'll answer that. We're going to go ahead and continue, and as the questions come in, Tella, I'll let you know.
Okay, all righty. Louisiana Early Childhood Accountability System. The class observation, what to expect. We know that we've discussed about the class observations, which measures the teacher-child interactions in the classrooms. And so for all type 3 publicly funded sites, you will receive 2 class observations each year from a class observer. And this observer has gone through extensive training to become class reliable. The observer will contact the site, usually the site director, to schedule a observation meeting. That meeting could be announced, and it could very well be unannounced. The observation will last about 2 hours. And during the observations, we understand that teachers can get a little antsy and they want the observer to provide them with feedback. But during the actual class observation, no feedback will be provided. The observation feedback should be obtained through a debriefing visit, is what we call it. And that debriefing visit could happen several different ways. It could be conducted by the director of the site. It can be conducted by the local CCR&R, your coach, the person that comes in to provide their technical assistance to you. But in some way, form, or fashion, a debriefing should take place with the teacher who was observed at the site. Accountability system, your classroom ratings. As you will see here, your site can be scored as low as a 1.0 all the way up to a 7.0. And listed here on the chart, we see those levels of that class score range, with 1.0 to 2.9 being unsatisfactory, to where your site would not receive any stars. And so we're not even looking at that. We're hoping that all of our sites will be really trying to move the needle towards becoming high proficient as well as excellent sites throughout our region, with a designation of a 4-star or a 5-star. And again, what we have mentioned about the school readiness tax credits, those dollars are tied directly to what star rating your site will receive. Accountability system, Louisiana School and Center Finder. The Louisiana School and Center Finder is a public hub that shares information about all of the schools as well as childcare sites throughout the state. If you would like to find out information about your site, you can go into this system and type in the name of your center, and it will pull up basic demographic information about your site as well as your performance rating. And we'll talk a little bit about it in the next couple of slides. The next slide indicates information, as I mentioned, the demographic information about your school. So where's your school located, or where's your site located, your phone number, the general hours of operation, if you're a type 1 site, if you're a type 2 site, if you're a type 3 site. It also indicates any licensing deficiencies that you might have received. The next slide indicates your academic performance. And oftentimes when sites are able to pull up their information about their site, they don't realize that the academic performance information is there. So if you click at that very top tab, it will break down information that your teachers have entered into the TS Gold system about your classroom. It's the classroom ratio, if your teachers are using a tier 1 curriculum, the data certification information about your teachers, how many teachers have a bachelor's degree, how many teachers have their CDA. So again, just it's a breakdown of information about the site. Under the academic performance tab, again, you will see the performance profile score. And as I mentioned previously, the score is calculated by the 2 class observations that were conducted, the one that was conducted in the fall and the class observation that was conducted in the spring. And those 2 scores are calculated to give your site 1 score. And so we have an example here where you can see with this particular site scored a 5.63 out of 7, which deemed them to be in a proficient site. Honor rolls on school and center finder. So the state, not only will the state recognize you as being a proficient site or an excellent site, the state has also decided to roll out 3 other designations, the honor roll system, the honor roll designation, as well as top gains. And so we have 3 different categories that we look at when sites are really progressing and really moving the needle on high performing. And so the excellent designation for sites is the highest possible rating that they can get on their annual performance. And top gains is the designation that sites will get if their site was listed, if their site, indicated significantly improvement with their performance score from one year to the next. The other designation is birth to 3. When we have birth to 3 sites that have high quality instruction and the teachers have, the early childhood sites who's typically scored lower in their performance group who showed a gain, then we gave those sites a designation of birth to 3 gain, top gain. Next steps. Understanding how families learn about the site quality. And what you can do as a site director, as well as your teachers, they can help to promote this as well, is make sure you introduce your families to the Louisiana School Site Finder. What the department is really moving towards is making sure that families have access to high quality programming. And they can do that on the Louisiana School Site Finder. It will tell them the designation of what each site is throughout the state in whichever region of the state that they live in. You can also contact high performing site leaders in your community. So you might identify a site that's in your region that might be a 5-star center that you want to learn from, or you want to learn some of their best practices so that you can start implementing them in your site. And so that's another way. And then also directors can also look at possibly for themselves as well as the teachers becoming class reliable themselves. Resources. The next couple of slides will indicate resources that are going to be very valuable and very beneficial to all type 3, to all type centers throughout the state. You will have a field support consultant. And as I mentioned, I am one of the 3 field support consultants that work with sites throughout the state. I cannot stress it enough. Field support consultants is the liaison with you, between you and the state. So what we do is we try to link and support sites as best as we can, be it information about CCAP or information about my academic approval. We want sites to feel that they have the level of support to help guide them and move them to progressing. And so you will see here we have indicated the 3 field support consultants throughout the state. We would like for you to get familiar with your FSC so that if you have any questions or concern, you can reach out to her. Resources for early learning centers. Again, your community network lead agency, Michelle has already shared that with you. We have community network lead agencies throughout the state. If you click that link there, it should take you to your community network lead agency for your region. Of course, your resource and referral agency. That's the agency that's going to provide you with that technical assistance, that coaching for the class tool, your mental health consultants. And again, that's another valuable asset for sites that could come in and help with behavior management. Louisiana Early Steps. As you can see, they provide the infant and toddler screenings for children who might have developmental delays. And then also saving money through state contracts. And we'll talk a little bit about that when we talk about the shared services. Okay. Centers, we understand that centers, have increasing costs daily and yearly. And of course, through with this COVID-19, we know that sites have lost money. And so the state recognized this early on, even before COVID, became the new norm. And so the early learning centers have been granted access to contracts that the state have. And sites are able to save on everyday items, every day, like milk and copy paper and PPE and other things that may be beneficial for the site. They're able to access these items through the department, through the contracts that they have established through local vendors or even national vendors. And so we would like for our sites, our type 3 sites, to take advantage of this wonderful benefit for their sites. Resources at the LDOE, of course, the website for the Department of Education's site is listed there, which is www.louisianabelieves.com. The Early Childhood Connections newsletter Again, if you're not receiving the early childhood newsletter, we would hope that you would subscribe to the newsletter. All information, any changes, any updates that the state would like to roll out, any new initiatives, any new pilot programs, they will be rolled out and they will be shared in that early childhood newsletter. So please, please, please make sure you're linked in and you're receiving that early childhood newsletter. And then lastly, any questions about educational requirements, if you have questions about your teachers earning that CDA credential, earning the ECAC, you can use that email address earlychildhood@la.gov to submit questions or concerns there. Resources for licensing, and trust me, you will have some questions for licensing. And so what you can do is we've indicated the licensing email address as well as your licensing consultant. And if you will notice here in the chart, your licensing consultant, that point of contact, you would have to look at the first initial of your center. So if the name of your center is ABC Learning Center, so you will see here Miss Sanyana Mingo is the licensing consultant. So she would be your point of contact if you have any questions about, anything, deficiency or anything related to licensing. You can contact your licensing consultant. Child Care Assistance Program. A lot of site directors have reached out to me. I know this personally about questions that they may have about being paid or getting a child enrolled in the Child Care Assistance Program, or they've submitted the paperwork and they have not received any communication regarding the acceptance of a child. And so we have information here about the provider help desk. This is strictly for directors to submit questions or concerns. It's a ticket system. And so basically they will address any concerns that you might have. We also have indicated the provider help desk managers. That's Ms. Veronica Buckley and Mr. Romney Manuel. And then also we've indicated an email address as well as phone numbers for the provider help desk and how the link for you to submit your ticket electronically. In the event you still have questions, or you have questions about trainings or tools, we have that provider certification help desk map. And depending on, again, on the region that you're located, we have your point of contact for that as well.
Okay, before we start with questions, I have a couple quick reflection questions for you. Could anybody type in the chat box how you get the latest and greatest information from the Department of Education? This was mentioned 5 times during this presentation, so let's see who knows the answer. Again, how do we get the latest and greatest information from the Department of Education? And it comes via email. Woohoo, good job, Susan, Mandy, Lauren, Rhonda, the newsletter, Erica, Chloe, Mandy, thank you for listening. The early childhood newsletter. So now we want you to go and register for the early childhood newsletter so you can get that emailed to you. Really important that you open it up and that you look at it for all of the latest and greatest information. Okay, who do we contact if we have a question about scholarships? What agency do we contact if we have a question about teacher or director scholarships to attend a college or a ECAC program? Good job, Mandy, Rhonda, Lauren. Pathways. Louisiana Pathways. Thank you so much for answering that question. The last question I have is, what tool does the department use to measure quality teacher and child interactions? Great, Katrina, class. Rhonda, class. A couple of you answered TS Gold. TS Gold is used to measure child goals. Class is used to measure the overall classroom, child and teacher interactions. The TS goal would be by student, whereas class is the entire class, and it's what the state uses to measure quality child interactions. And it is also what we use for our performance profiles. Again, if you have any questions, please type them in the chat box. A copy of this presentation will be in the Early Childhood Library on our Louisiana Believes website. We do hope you go to that website. It has some great information, on it. The director's toolbox, don't create forms. Any form that you would want is on that website, whether it be from hiring forms to licensing forms. Please go on that website and see all the wonderful information that's been created, so you're not wasting your time recreating these types of forms for your center. This presentation is going to be led online every other month for new staff joining your program, and it's going to be listed in that Early Childhood Connections newsletter that you'll all sign up for. And then if you have any questions, you may contact Emmy O'Dwyer at la.gov with any questions related to this website. There's a question from Rhonda, and she's wanting to know if the Louisiana Believes newsletter is on the website. Past newsletters are located on the website, but to get the newest and latest and greatest information, you need to sign up to have it delivered to your email. Do we have any other questions? Where do you sign up? Let's see. Let's go back to that slide. I'm going to type it for everyone in the chat box so you can write it down. And remember, if you type in your Google search, just www.louisianabelieves.com. Katrina said it wouldn't allow her to sign up if she found another link. So if you look at Katrina's link, it might work better. I don't know. I'll have to double check that link, but that's the link that's been given to us. So I'm sorry if it doesn't work, but look at Katrina's and sign up for that newsletter. Any other questions? Okay, well, thank you very much for joining us today. Again, this presentation will be available for you to review if you need it again. It will be on the Louisiana Believes website. And we hope that if you have any questions at all, that you reach out to any of us at the department. We're always willing to help you and assist you and to listen if you're having problems. So thank you again.